In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Sunday night. And I'm your host, Jake Johnson. Joining me is Mr. Pickles. How's everybody doing? It is a Bible study night. Tonight we're in the great book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 29. That's where we left off last week. That's where we're going to pick up this week. Get your Bibles handy. Get your coffee ready. And let's get after it. Don't you want to have a cup with me? I got mine. Do you have yours? Thank you to the perfect person providing the coffee for the show. I do appreciate it. It is delicious. Just like Mama used to make. Anyway, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup, and let's get to talking about Bible stuff. If you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It does have my face on it. It is fantastic. Also, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little bit of love. If you want to... VJ. You can do that at paypal.me/jakejohnsonband or CashApp $jakejohnsonband, and I appreciate you very much. Also, if you'd like to hang out with us outside of here and see what we get up to when we're not doing this, go over to facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to hang out. You'll meet wonderful people there and watch great videos. It is fun, and it is free, so there's no reason not to. Hit that like button. All right, let's do it. Debbie's first in chat. She gets the gold star. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Nice to see you. Hamburger help her hand back at you. Amanda says, here's your gold star. And Hamburger help her hand back at you. Then Amanda says, hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see you all. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hi, Jake. How are you tonight? Better. I can breathe somewhat, and I can talk somewhat, so I'm getting better. Climbing that mountain, one claw at a time. Keep a good man down. Thank you for asking. How are you? Same. Here's a link to the chat if anybody wants to check it out. Linda Davis is here. She says, hi, Jake Amanda. Hi, Jake Amanda and Debbie. Hamburger help her hand. Hi, Linda. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It is an excellent day for a Bible study, and we have a great one in store for tonight. So I hope that you're ready, and I hope you're excited, and I hope that you're all bundled up and got your ears on. It's going to be good. And we'll go for a few minutes and let everybody show up that's going to show up. Only 4 people here, so we can do better than that. 5 people now. Come on now. Let's get to 10 or 15 before we start. We need to make like a door prize for the 15th or 20th person to come in. Figure out some kind of way to get people here. It's God's word. This cosmic universal stuff boring everybody. The answer to life. Yeah, I got other things to do. Amanda says, Linda, hamburger help her hand. If you guys had a good weekend, I have slept the entire weekend, sitting up and sleeping, cross-legged and sleeping. I don't recommend that. You will be sore. You will feel like you've been run over by a Mack truck, but you can breathe. It's odd. It's hard to breathe laying down when you got your lungs full of fluid. But if you're sitting up, you can do it. It can be done. It's like a straw in water. If you cockeye it, it'll spew out if the water moves. But if you hold it straight up and down, it'll find a level and stay there. Do you feel better? You sound better. I do feel a little better. I'm still ill, but I'm less ill than I was yesterday, so that's a good thing. I managed to eat a little bit today and more coffee, so that's good. I got some rest. Rest is good for sickness. So I guess I am better than I was yesterday. Maybe tomorrow I'll be better than I am today, and the day after that I'll be tackling the world. How are you feeling today? I guess in terms of feeling good, if you want a way to measure it, the last time you saw me, every second that I was here, I wasn't sure if that would be my last second. At any moment, I thought I was going to have to quit, go to bed. I don't feel that way today, so I feel like I could go for a while. So that's something. Debbie says, I am fan-freaking-tastic. That's wonderful. That's a good way to be. I feel like if I keep enough coffee in my throat, I can talk. So that's fan-freaking-tastic for me, too. It only starts cutting out when it goes dry. Anybody ever tell you that bronchitis is a breeze? They lied to you. It turns out that's probably what it is. It's either that or pneumonia, but I think it's bronchitis. Because bronchitis is contagious, pneumonia is not, and she has it, so. That's what I think. All right, you guys ready to get after it? I don't think anybody else is showing up, so it's us. It's us tonight. So let's do it. If you got your Bible handy, crack them open to the great book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 29, and let's go down. Amanda says, it's all your fault, Jake. Yes, it is. My fault for living. I should have knew better. Linda says, the kids graduate this week. Nice. And then begins the summer fun. Is it summer already? I don't keep up with it anymore because I don't have kids anymore, but man, seems like we should. I guess it is May, June, July, August. Yeah, I guess so. Wow. Or I guess it is June. Tomorrow will be June. Well, congratulations to your children. It's nice to know that they're doing a graduation thing. What are you talking about, graduating completely or like to the next grade? This is the end of the school or end of the school year? Because if it's like graduate, awesome. That's going to be a good week. I think both of mine finally graduated. So that's awesome. I know one did because they went to college. College, but I don't know about the other one. But pretty sure he did. He was the smart one, so. And Debbie says, be nice, Amanda. Jake don't feel well. That's all right. One is graduating high school, and one is graduating 8th grade. Got it. Well, both proud of both of you. All right. Let's open up the reader and go for it. Chapter 15, verse 29. Untethered reads. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, but for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. So that's one law. That's the 10 Commandments. That means that covers everybody. And I don't know why this is a hard thing for people to understand. I've had many questions about the law and about, I guess, because the Jews are pulled apart from everybody else, they're a point of contention, they're curiosity, a thing that makes people want to question it. maybe they don't understand entirely why God separated the Israelites. The reason he did that is because he wanted them to be recognizable at a distance. Like, no matter where you are in the world, if you see one of those people, you know who they are, right? On sight. You don't have to even talk to them. You know they're from that tribe. That's why he did that. And the reason he did it was because they were his chosen people. He wanted them to be the example that everybody else lived by. It didn't work out that way, because turns out people are dumb. But that was the idea. And so what he's saying here is, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are or what group you belong to. There's one law. It's for everybody. Some people can't get away with things that other people can. Everybody gets treated equally under the law. This verse needs to be tattooed on somebody's forehead and sent to Washington, because in TC they absolutely think that there are rules for me but not for thee. They absolutely think they can get away with there's a double standard in the law today, and we need to stop that. But the soul that doth aught presumptuously, does anything presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord. If you act presumptuously, like out of turn, without asking for permission, without knowing what you're doing, presumptuous meaning, you assume something and then go for it without understanding, then you reproach God. He doesn't like it. And that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Follow the law. That's the implication here. Because he hath despised the word of the Lord, and hath broken his commandment. See, it's the commandment that matters. That soul shall be utterly cut off. His iniquity shall be upon him. In other words, you're going to pay for your own sin. You're not going to get away with it. Keep that in mind as you traverse the earth, go through this life, doing things, sometimes willy-nilly, sometimes with very little thought. Remember that it all is going to be on your own shoulders, unless you ask for forgiveness. And you have to mean that. You can't con God. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. He's working on the Sabbath. Oh, no. Gathering sticks probably for a fire to cook him something to eat with. Who knows why he was doing it, but he was doing it. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. Well, let's just turn this guy out. Make sure everybody recognizes that he did something wrong. And they put him in ward. They put him in jail because he was not declared what should be done to him. It was not declared what should be done to him. They didn't have a law for picking up sticks. There was no scripture that said, thou shalt not pick up sticks on the Sabbath. What should we do with this guy? He was definitely working, but I don't know where it is in the law that we can use that against him. Well, Jesus Christ would say, if your ass falls into a ditch on the Sabbath, do you wait till Monday to get him out? No. You get him out because you have to. You're doing the right thing. The idea is to be a standard across the land, not to be taken literally, like if you do it, you die. But you're supposed to observe the Sabbath and be aware of it and do everything you can do to rest on that day. There's always people that are going to want to take things too seriously. That's what they're doing. And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. Well, he did write it. It is the law. But the people that caught him, they're the ones that are going to have to stone him. Why? Because you're responsible for the things that you do. It wasn't enough that you could just leave that man alone. You had to bring him before the congregation. Oh, yeah? Well, now you get to stone him. You get to live with that. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Lord commanded Moses. Now, what they're not telling you here, it's in the subtext, is how it feels to stone a person to death. He was picking up sticks. That was his big crime. He was working on the Sabbath. And because they wouldn't leave him alone and had to bring him before the congregation and make an example of the guy, and then brought it to the Lord, and the Lord said, well, what did I say? Well, you said, don't work on the Sabbath or you'll be put to death. Well, then go put him to death. That's what I said. Go do it. I've got bigger things to worry about. Okay. But now the people have to actually carry this out. I don't know if you've ever killed anybody before, but I can assure you that it is not an easy thing to do, both mentally or physically. It's harder than you think it is. And once you've done it, you can't undo it. Now you have to look at it. Now you have to live with it. Now you have to know about it. His family members have to ask about it, and you have to answer. It's a lot of things that will never go away because of this behavior. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they did it this way. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout the generation, and that they put upon the fringe of the border a riband of blue, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all of the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you use to go a whoring. Back in the day, that's the way you used to do it. You've changed now. That you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. Well, this seems silly. A fringe around the bottom of my pants with a blue ribbon. Well, not only can everyone see that, you can too. Every time you move, you'll notice it. It's fringe. It's flapping around down there. And on that fringe are little marks or whatever that tell you each commandment or remind you of each commandment. And so no matter where you go or who you're with or what you're doing, you have to be conscious and aware of what you're doing. It's a constant reminder, and it's tacky. It sticks out like a sore thumb because they didn't wear a lot of colors in those days. So for a blue ribbon around your legs that are moving everywhere you go, you're going to stick out. It's noticeable is what I'm saying. Remember that you used to seek after your own heart and go a whoring. You know that guy y'all stoned to death yesterday? Yeah, you used to be just like him, and you were no more guilty than he was. But now I want you to remember forever who you are and what is at stake when you break the law. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Well, that is a very overly stated sentence. It says the same thing 3 times. I want to be your God. I want to be your God. I am your God. Think about it for a minute. You didn't bring you out of Egypt. I did. You didn't give you this land that you are now prospering in. I did. You're not the reason that you're free people. I am. I am your God. You're not acting like it. Act like it. This is very simple. There's a lot of people that want to act the way they want to act, regardless of why they get to act that way. You need to be aware that I am your God. Up front. I am your God, and everything you do is because of me. So act like I'm your God, says God. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, one of the Levites, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the son of Eliab, and On. Yes, there's a guy named On in the Bible. O-N, On. And the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation. These are big boys that get a lot done. Everybody knows who they are. They are the cool kids in the block, I guess. That's who they are. They're very famous. Men of renown. Wait a minute. Have we heard that expression before? There were men in the earth in those days. Men of old, men of renown, famous. Who are they? Do you know who we're talking about? Anybody? 10 points. Let's see. Korah and Izhar took men. 200 of them, 250 of them. So there's 250 men who are famous in those days. Men of renown, men of old. Who are they? The other place you've heard this started with the sentence, there were giants in the earth in those days, men of renown, men of old. They are the Nephilim, the fallen angels. So these men are descendants of those men. And you can tell them by the title they're given, the men of renown. It's the same men that were talked about in the giant part. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, You take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. Oh, you want to challenge me. Okay. These men have picked a fight with Moses and Aaron, telling them that they take too much from the people. You guys are too in charge. I don't like how you're running things. Me and these 250 men are going to stop you. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face and spake unto Korah and to all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him who he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. Okay, that's not what we expected. That is not the reaction I thought was going to happen, says these two guys. I thought we were going to fight and I was going to take over and then I'd be running the place. That's not what happened. You start praying and then all of a sudden you're telling me that I'm going to be told tomorrow who God wants to run this place? Yeah. You don't mess with Moses. He's smarter than you are. He says, This do. Take you censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. That's an insult. You're too big for your britches, is what he's saying. You want to find out who the holy men are? You want to find out who you're supposed to be listening to? Put some incense in your fire and your censer tomorrow, and God will tell you who's in charge. You have set yourself too high up on the totem pole. You're too big for your britches. It's time you come down a peg or two. You son of Levi. You men of old. You men of renown. You men who are almost certainly corrupted by the fallen angels. which is doesn't say that, but it does say that in kind of a way because it uses the same expression to describe them. So what are we talking about if not to use that expression for that reason? And Moses said unto Korah, Hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you that the God of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. Do you think that's a small thing? Korah, do you think that it is a small thing that God chose you to run the tabernacle and to do the service and to do the things that is required and to be a Levite, to bear God? You think that's insignificant? You think I take too much? You have free reign of the place. You can do whatever you want because God chose you to be a Levite, which is special. Wonder why? And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also. Don't you also want to be a priest? Yeah. For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. Yeah, which one of these reasons are you coming against God? You want to be a priest, and you've been called to be a Levite, and now you're standing up in defiance of God because you don't like the leadership. And what is Aaron that you murmur against him? Aaron, my brother, the guy that's your boss. What is he? Why are you murmuring? What has he done to cause you to hate him so much? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, We will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? Oh, that's what you think. You think that I brought you out here because I wanted to. I've taken you out of safety and brought you into a active war zone because I want to be in charge. That's what you think? No, I'm following God just like you are. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. Well, those two men are stupid and don't deserve what's coming. And rightfully so, Moses was very wroth and said unto the Lord, Respect not thou their offer. If they offer you something, don't respect it. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. I haven't done anything wrong to them, and I'm not going to accept anything they offer to God. So I'm asking you, God, don't respect what they offer. These guys are idiots. And Moses said unto Korah, Be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring you before the Lord every man his censer, 250 censers, and thou also, and Aaron, each of you his censer. Let's get this squared away right now. Bring it tomorrow and be ready. You're going to find out who's the boss tomorrow. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them and laid incense thereon and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So he's got all of his people chomping at the bit to get Moses and them out of here so they can have run of the place, I guess. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. And the Lord spake to who? Moses and Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. Uh-oh. Wait, says Korah. I thought we were going to be told who the boss is. Oh, you will. Just a minute. He's talking about consuming everybody. Yeah. Why is he doing that? 'Cause you're a moron. Well, we're going to be over here. You keep thinking what you're thinking. Pardon me. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? Oh, no. No, you all gathered together here against my man Moses. You forget that part? Remember when Korah called you and you all came? That's you sinning, because I told you to follow him. Right? Oh, Lord. What did we do? We did nothing. You did something. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Yeah, this isn't their tabernacle. It's Moses' tabernacle. They're the ones trying to take over, though. So if you're with them, stick around. If you're not, if I was you, I'd get away from the tabernacle. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. To which those boys are now thinking, oh, crap. What have we done? They're all leaving us. I thought you said this was a good idea. Well, it was a good idea. Well, why are they all leaving then and touching nothing of ours? Because I think we're fixing to die. Because this wasn't a good idea. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, now keep in mind, Moses is not happy about this. This is not a joyous moment. This is a people getting what's coming to them, despite the fact that it's not nice to watch. You don't want this to happen to anybody, but it has to at some point. So Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. This is not for me. I'm not trying to take advantage of you. I am not trying to herd you or lord over you. I'm doing what I'm told, just like you should. From this day forward, everybody here will know that God sent me to do the work I'm doing. You don't have to question it. You don't have to wonder why I get to be in charge and you don't. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth opens her mouth and swallows them up with all that pertaineth unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then you shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. Well, yeah. What Moses is saying is, today we're going to find out the difference between you and me, right? Today we're going to understand that God has a plan, and he's serious about following it. And he picked me to do a thing, and I'm doing it. And he picked you to do a thing, and you should do it. So, if these men go on about their lives, if nothing happens, then you'll understand, yeah, we're all in this together. You can do what you need to do. But if the earth opens up and swallows them whole in about 5 minutes, then you'll know that God meant business and that you should probably pay attention to what he says. What do you think is going to happen? And as it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that are pertained to them, to Korah, and all their goods, and their children, and their little children, and their wives, and their buddies, and their false gods, and everything they owned, went down into the earth in that moment. They and all that are pertained to them went down alive into the pit that were still alive, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. You want to talk about terrifying. You want to understand that the most terrifying thing that could ever happen to you, you'd be swallowed up by the earth with no way out, and you die, with the weight of the world literally crushing you. That's what happens when you turn against God. Things like that happen. Let this be a lesson to you all. Do what God says do. Don't take it as a joke. Don't take it as trivial. Don't question it. Just do it. And be happy you have the opportunity to do so. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. Let's get out of here. So everybody fled and got out of Dodge. They didn't want nothing to do with what got them people swallowed up. And so all the innocent people that were called by Korah to come to the congregation to stand up against Moses for having too much authority, all of them fled without exception. So that tells you where the majority of the people are. Moses is the guy in charge. You listen to him. And there came out a fire from the Lord and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. Remember those guys? I guess the 250 princes were not part of the things that got swallowed up. They were just standing there holding their incense. Well, God consumed them with the fire. So they no longer exist. Those 250 men of renown, the famous people, the fallen angels that Korah brought to this thing as if to be his army. See, if you understand who these 250 men are, then you understand why it was so offensive for Korah to bring them. These men were not human beings. They were hybrids of some sort. You know this by the way they're described. You have to read between the lines, but it's there. Just look at it. The only other time where that phrase is used in the Bible is talking about the Nephilim. That's what these people were. Men of renown, like the Greek gods, the pantheon, It's who they were. And God ate them alive for being who they were. Can I get a refill on this coffee, please? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. The fire is hallowed. Yeah, the only thing left of those people were the censers containing the fire, the incense, and the people gone. 250 of them. The censers of these sinners against their own souls Let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Lord. Therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. So the censers, the containers that they had the fire in, are going to be reworked into a covering for the altar, like a case that goes over the altar. So they take that metal and turn it into something else, so that everybody remembers this moment. And because they offered that incense to God, the offering is holy. God didn't accept it, but it's still holy, right? Because it's an offering to God. So it's a sign for Israel from now on that these men died because they asked for the wrong thing. They offered against God's will, and God did not respect that offering. And likewise, if you ask God for the wrong thing, he won't accept yours either. You have to think about and be aware of what's right when you ask for stuff, right? You can't just ask to be a king if you don't have the stuff to be a king with, right? Or if you don't understand the political environment the world is in, or if you don't understand what the people need, who are you to lead them? So you can't ask for that. So God, in that case, will not respect your offering, even though you're offering for that reason. That make any sense? And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers wherewith they were burnt, had offered, wherewith they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger, which is not of the seed of Aaron, come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he be not as Korah and his company, as the Lord said to him by the hand of Moses. Yet don't be like that guy. That's what these new plates that cover the altar say to the people of Israel. Don't be like that guy. Don't do what he did. And above all, most importantly, don't question Moses, because the hand of Moses is handled by God. If he says do it, you do it. If he says say it, you say it. If he says think it, you think it. Don't question Moses. But on the morrow, all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, you have killed the people of the Lord. Whoa. Did you not see what just happened yesterday? This is one day later. They're already murmuring. Moses didn't kill anybody. Moses didn't tell Korah to stand up against him and rebel, or to gather 250 hybrid people to bring against him, or to offer strange fire to God in censers. He didn't say to do any of that. But the people are stupid, and they think Moses has killed the people of the Lord. The Lord told the people what he was doing this for yesterday. And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked towards the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Didn't I talk to you yesterday, says God? You're already forming an army against Moses again? Did you not learn yesterday that the earth will swallow you up? Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them as in a moment. And they fell upon their faces. Yeah. And Moses said to Aaron, take a censer and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them. Try to get there before God kills them, and make an atonement for their stupidity. For there is wrath gone out from the Lord, and the plague is begun. You can't stop it. So go quickly and atone for their sins, because they're about to die. I don't think I can hold God back this time. And Aaron took as Moses commanded and ran into the midst of the congregation, and behold, the plague was begun from among the people. They already started getting leprosy and boils and bad stuff happening right there in the congregation. And he put on incense and made an atonement for the people and stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. So because he covered their sins, the plague stopped, but it killed some people, because there they are laying there on the ground dead. Now they that died in the plague were 14,700, besides them that died about the matter of Korah. That many more people died. They didn't give a number, but it was all the people that followed Korah and his family, and the people that worked for him and were friends with him. So there was a large number. This number is 14,700 people died from the plague in a space of about 10 minutes, I'm guessing. And Aaron returned unto Moses unto the door of the tabernacle, to which Moses said, Did you wash your hands? He didn't say that. Of the congregation, and the plague was stayed. It stopped. Thank God. Thank God has mercy when you start doing things right. Because Aaron offered incense and atoned for their sins, God forgave them. But only just, and quite a lot of them died. So just remember that you can be dumb, but sooner or later you got to be pulled back into line and do right. And the way you do that is by asking for forgiveness and starting over. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and take of every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers, of all their princes according to the house of their fathers 12 rods, and write thou every man's name upon the rod, upon his rod. This word rod also can be said staff, as a walking stick. Take a walking stick from every tribe and write their name on it. And thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi, because now Aaron is the head Levite. Remember, Aaron is not a Levite. He's of the tribe of Judah like Moses. But he was chosen by God to rule with the Levites, so he became one, like adopted into the family. And now he runs the Levites. In fact, the head of them. So write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For one rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. And thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, or the ark of the covenant, where I will meet with you. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom. And I will make to cease from me the murmurings of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. Well, whose rod do you think is going to bud? If you had to guess, who would it be? We know that there is a rod that budded in the Ark of the Covenant, and it belonged to Aaron, Aaron's rod, which budded. Is this when that happens? Let's find out. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel, and every one of their princes gave him a rod apiece. For each prince one, according to their father's house, even 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among them rods, because he's now the head of the Levites. Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of the witness. And it came to pass Then on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed blossoms, and yielded almonds. An almond tree that rod was made out of. And Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord unto the children of Israel, and they looked and took every man his rod. And the Lord said unto Moses, Bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the rebels. And thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die not. Well, makes sense. And Moses did so, as the Lord commanded him, so did he. And the children of Israel spake unto Moses, saying, Behold, we die, we perish, we all perish. That's your fault. You had a chance. Whosoever cometh anything near unto the tabernacle of the Lord shall die. Shall we be consumed with dying? Yes. And the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. And thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. Oh, so these people murmuring will be my fault? Yeah, you see how that works? Now you're in charge. I don't want to hear it anymore is what God's saying. Listen, I've got a world to run. I don't want to hear your little whining. Stop that. That's what this little exercise is about. You handle it. You'll be responsible for it. So it's up to you to get these people to understand what they're supposed to do. You're the priest, remember? Be a priest. Go teach the flock. If they don't learn, you bear that iniquity. Whew. Seems like an incentive to me. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. And they shall keep thy charge, and the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come near to the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor you die also. See, there's a punishment for being a rebel. And usually that punishment is excommunication. You get cut off, right? When you don't follow the game plan, you get kicked out of the team. It's that simple. I don't know why this is hard to understand. God told them they were chosen people. He told them what he was going to do with them and how they were going to have to get there. And some of them did not like that. Well, you get cut off if you become a rebel. It's one thing to rebel against a tyrannical leader that is pushing you into wars and things that you don't want to have to do, that isn't right for you to have to do, and you rebel to protect yourself. It's a completely another thing when you rebel because you don't like who's in charge. That's different. That's called something else. That's called treason. God meant what he said, and now he's made it official. And now there are consequences for your actions. And now a certain number of these people can't even go participate in the offerings and be part of the whole, the whole show. The whole, sacrifice and eat and go pray and be part of the whole shebang. They can't do any of that anymore. They can go to the tabernacle, but they can't go inside. They can't touch anything. Well, that's because they chose to murmur. They chose to backbite and go against the plan of God. The name of Israel is to wrestle with God. That's what it means. So to some degree, wrestling with the concept is necessary. That's part of being a Christian. He wants you to do that. It's a completely different thing when you're wrestling against what he wants you to do. Wrestling to understand, one thing. Wrestling against what you've been told to do, that's another thing. Right? You can't do that. When God says do, you do. Period. And they shall be joined unto thee, and keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation for all the service of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not come near unto you. Period. And you shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel. Let's put a stop to the infighting. All the Republicans need to come together as Republicans. You can't fight amongst yourselves. A divided house cannot stand. Right? All of the children of Israel need to be a team, a unified team. Because if you're going against each other, how can you not withstand the world together? You can't do that. A divided house can't stand. And I, behold, I have taken your brethren the Levites from among the children of Israel. To you they are given as a gift for the Lord to do the service of the tabernacle of congregation, but they belong to me. You remember back in the day when I used to require the firstborn of every male and the firstborn of every animal? I don't do that anymore. Now I picked all of the Levites to be what that used to be. So now the Levites are mine. And I give them to you freely as a gift so that they can do the work for me. So make no mistake about it. God owns the Levites. They're his. They're not free people. They still have free will, but they can't use it because they have to do what God tells them to do. And if they don't, they die horribly. Therefore, thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest's office for everything of the altar. And within the veil that's inside where the Ark of the Covenant is, and you shall serve. I have given your priest's office unto you as a service of gift. And the stranger that comes near shall be put to death. Nobody that doesn't belong there should ever go there. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, Behold, I also have given thee the charge of mine heave offerings of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel. Unto thee have I given them by reason of the atoning, and to thy sons, anointing, and by ordinance forever. So all of the heave offerings are now belong to Aaron and his sons. So they get the good stuff because of the anointing of God. What does all that mean? That means that from now on, when they have offerings, when people come and offer things to God, any of that offering that is a heave offering, which is usually the right thigh or the breast or something like that, good meat, good quality meat, that's the heave offering. That goes to Aaron and his sons, period. Nobody else gets any of that. That's his for the work that they do because God anointed them to do that work. Seems like a nice deal. I don't get chicken. I just get to talk. But it'd be nice if I had like a drum and a thigh every now and then. Just saying. This shall be thine of the most holy things, yours of the most holy things. Reserved from the fire, every oblation of theirs, every meat offering of theirs, and every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me, shall be most holy for thee and for thy sons. So you get all of that. It's a pretty good deal. If you think about living in the desert in a world where there's no technology, dinner is pretty important. Right? That's the biggest thing you can hope for is to attain dinner. And they just got permanent dinner. They don't have to worry about that anymore. Indeed, they are truly rich. In this most holy place shalt thou eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto thee. And this is yours, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them unto you, unto thee, and to thy sons, and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Every one that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Lord, them I have given to thee. So they get the best meal every time, because they are clean and do what God says do. That may not seem like much, but really think about it. It really is a big deal. And whatsoever is first ripe in the land, the first ripe thing in the land, which they shall bring unto the Lord, shall be yours, thine. Every one that is clean in thine house shall eat of it. You have to be clean. You can't just eat of it. Notice that there's a caveat. There always is. Everybody that's in your house, if they're clean, if they have properly attained cleanliness and righteousness and all that is part of being a priest, if they did it right and are anointed, they get to partake in all this. This is your food forever. Pretty big deal. Everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Everything that openeth the matrix or is born in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beasts, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstling of unclean beasts shalt thou redeem. What does that mean? That means offer them to God. Make them clean. And those that are to be redeemed from a month old shalt thou redeem according to thine estimation, for the money of the 5 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. It's got to be the whole shekel, which is 20 gerahs. So you understand that redeeming them means that they have to purchase them. It doesn't mean they get killed. It means they get bought. So they are property of the ward, of God's temple, if you want to call it that. But the firstling of a cow, or the firstling of a sheep, or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. You don't get to own those. Those go to God. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And the flesh of them shall be yours, as the wave breast and the right shoulder are thine. So they can make things out of the skin, but the meat goes to God. And that's what that means, the flesh of them. It means you can use it in all of its parts for whatever you want to use it for, but the meat has to be offered to God. All the heave offerings of the holy things, which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord, have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee. Note the exception of the daughters here. They're added in there also. Why? Because God's not a chauvinist like modern people try to make him sound. Because he considered them too. They need to eat also. And they have much to do with all of this work also. They're part of the whole thing. They're just not mentioned a lot. Because men wrote the Bible, that's why. By a statute forever, it is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord unto thee and to thy seed with thee. So in other words, this is a promise that I've made with you that will last forever. That is to Aaron and all of his descendants. So if there are any descendants of Aaron on earth today, they are most likely very well off and have everything handed to them because God promised them so. But Here's the part. That sounds like a sweet deal. Here's the caveat. Thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. You don't get to own property, and you don't get to claim ownership of anything that belongs to them. You don't get any of that, because I am your inheritance. Now that's better, but for a man that might seem not better. I don't get a house? No. I don't get a yard? No. But I have to fight in the war? Yeah. Well, that's not fair. Yes, it is, because they don't get God. You get God. That means if you want to talk to God, you can talk to me directly, like I do with Moses. I'll come talk to you. That means that anything you need, all you got to do is ask for it and I'll deliver it. That means that whatever you think God is, they have first right to it. They don't get to own property, though. They don't get to be rich and powerful or famous or any of the things that come with money or property, but they get God. They get to do all the work, too, which is a nice thing because at least it'll be done right. And they get fed forever. They don't ever go hungry. They don't ever do without. They don't ever get stranded. Whatever that is, I have part of that because I don't ever get stranded. You can ask anybody that knows me. If I get stranded, it won't be 5 minutes. Somebody will stop and pick me up and then strike up a conversation about God while we're going. Happens every time. That has never failed. And I consider that a blessing. And I don't own much. But I don't know if I'm a descendant of Aaron or not. I doubt it. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the 10th in Israel for an inheritance. For their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, neither must the children of Israel henceforth come near to the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. So they can't come to the tabernacle anymore, these people. But the Levites shall go do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. That is their lot in life. They don't get to own property or have any of the riches that come from Canaan. But a 10th part of everything that belongs to the other tribes, they can use. They can't own it. They can't take it, but they can use it, which I guess is good. Every city has a place carved out for the Levites and a church, a place to do business, a place to set up for offerings and such. And there's a place for them to sleep. So I guess that's a good thing. You just can't own it. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit the tithing. Therefore, I have said to them, among the children of Israel shall they have no inheritance, but they get the tithing. So they get the riches that come in from the church, right? Basically, what he's saying is, I will provide a way for you to be able to run the tabernacle. The people will tithe, and you will use that money to run the tabernacle. And if you need anything, use it for that. That's why it's important to tithe, because the church needs it to run, because they can't do anything else but the church. So they need support. That's how the church stays there. It's built into the law of God. It's all throughout the Bible. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, When you take of the children of Israel the tithes, which I have given you from their given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it for the Lord, even a 10th part of the tithe. So even a 10th of the tithe that they receive, they have to give that to God, and they keep the rest. They keep the rest. And this, your heave offering, shall be reckoned unto you, as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress. So whatever you offer will be counted as a good offering, whatever it is. Thus ye shall also offer a heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes, which you receive of the children of Israel, and ye shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. Aaron gets that part. Out of all your gifts ye shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best thereof, even the hallowed part thereof, out of it, to Aaron. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, when you have heaved the best thereof from it, then it shall be counted unto the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. And you shall eat it in every place, you and your households. For it is your reward for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation. Now, what are we saying here? The Israelites tithe to the church, 10% of whatever they make. That's the general rule. And then they take the Levites who work at the church, take that tithe, and take a 10th part of that tithe and give it to Aaron. No matter what it is, it's the best part of that tithe goes to Aaron. And the rest of it goes to Aaron's sons and to their sons and whoever's in there working. That's a pretty sweet deal. That is their inheritance. And you shall bear no sin by reason of it, when you have heaved from it the best of it. Neither shall you pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest you die. So it comes with a caveat still. Your sins will be forgiven because you've done this thing the way God said to do it, but you cannot pollute the holy things. That means you can't pervert it and use it for your own benefit. You can't add to it or take away from it. You can't change it in any way. You can't pollute it or you will die. Because when you work for the congregation, when you are a Levite, you have a direct line to God, and he holds you directly responsible for everything you do. So there is no offering up a atonement or asking for forgiveness. If you screw up, you die from it. Because you already know better. You work for the man. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law, which the Lord hath commanded, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein there is no blemish, and upon which never came a yoke. And you shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take the blood of her with his finger, and sprinkle of the blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. And the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterwards he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until evening. But that burnt offering is important. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until evening. It's not a clean business doing the sacrifice. And the man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them up without the camp in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. So these ashes can be used to purify sin. That's what he's saying. Add a little bit of that ash to water, and that water becomes pure water that you can use to purify sin. This goes to the sin eater myths of the Torah and the Jewish writings and all of that. So it's a little bit strange, but that's what they believed in. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean for 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day shall he be clean. But if he purify not himself on the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall be unclean or not clean. You got to purify yourself with this ash water. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the congregation, the tabernacle of the Lord. That soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. So if you're going to go into the tabernacle, you have to be purified and wait the ritual time before you can go in, because you have dead flesh on you. This is God talking about germs spreading by touch and by proximity. It, in fact, is scientific. This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. Why? Well, because when you die, germs take over and things in the body react and start devouring the body, and all kinds of bacteria come in and start doing their job to degrade the body and make it go away. That's how the world works. If you're in the vicinity of a dead body, those things are surely going to get on you, and you could spread that and make people sick. That's why. God knew this back then. Men did not. So that's how it goes. And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean. Yeah, because when you die, all that stuff is airborne. If it's not covered, it's going in the water or into the food or whatever's in that vessel. It's unclean. You got to get rid of it. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with the sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean for 7 days, because all those things have the same thing in common. They all have touched a dead thing. And for an unclean person they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer and purification for sin, and running water shall be put there into a vessel, and a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water and sprinkle it upon the tent and upon all the vessels and upon the persons that were there, and upon him that toucheth a bone, or slain, or one dead, or the grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day he shall be purifying himself again, and wash his clothes and bathe himself in water again, and shall be clean at evening. So that's how long it takes to clean yourself when you're touching dead things. All right, so we're going to stop for today. I'm running out of air. We'll pick up tomorrow, 1920. There's another enumeration. Keeps doing that. All right. I hope that was informative. I hope you learned something. I hope it touched your heart. I hope it caused you to think, ask questions, get that brain moving. Most of all, I hope it causes you to reach both hands out to Almighty God and ask Him to be a part of your life. Ask Him to solve what ails you, to fix what is wrong, to illuminate what you don't know, to bring into focus things that are unclear. Ask him to be a part of your life, and I promise you he will. Now, while you're thinking about all of that stuff, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Press the bell icon so you get notifications when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's right there. It helps with the channel. Helps get recommended to other people. Won't you do that, please? Share this video with everyone you know. Be a pro. Bring people into the fold. Make them part of the family. Be part of the solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid, make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value of what I'm trying to build and you'd like to help me build it, well, consider joining the channel. Get yourself a J-tag, buy a t-shirt, throw a super chat in the chat box. Help out. But if you feel led to send your tithes, offerings, or love offerings to this humble ministry, to tithe where you were taught, you can do that at paypal.me/jakejohnsonband or CashApp $JakeJohnsonband if you prefer. Every little bit helps. It is a win-win. It is a blessing for me, but it's a blessing for you too, because God notices these things. Now, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of your support. I will answer all of your questions and comments right now. Okay, coffee time. Delicious. All right. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you learn anything? Did you feel enlightened? Do you feel like your brain's turning to mayonnaise? Let me know. The floor is yours. And my thing is crooked. Better. All right, where are we at here? Okay. Amanda says, LOL, Debbie, he gave that crap to me. I did not give it to you. You took it from me. I had it all to myself, and you just couldn't stand it. Debbie says, how was the meeting with your long-lost nephew, not cousin? That happens next week. My sister neglected to tell me that. She talked to me about meeting on Sunday. She did not say next Sunday. She said she meant to tell me the date and forgot. So it'll be next Sunday that I meet him. I did not know that until this morning when I called to find out when she was showing up. Funny. He should be babying me like I was him, LOL. Debbie says, I'm going to leave that one alone on Bible study night, Amanda. Right on. Amanda says, LOL, Debbie. What it is? What's up, brother? Nice to see you. Hello, Jake, and to all Untethered Live on Bible study. What's up, what it is? How you doing this weekend? Amanda says, Hamburger Helper, and what it is. Kevin Bernard, hello, my friend. What's happening? He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Hey, how are you? Amanda says, Kevin, Hamburger Helper, and Bill Bennett, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. Bill says, happy Sunday, all. Happy Sunday to you too, Bill. How you doing? Amanda says, Bill, Hamburger Helper, and Linda says, hi, Kevin. Hi, Linda. Kevin says, Hamburger Helper, and Amanda says, good read, Jake. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Kevin says, good read, Jake. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. It's my pleasure. What it is says, wrestling with God. Yes. To wrestle with God is literally the transliteration of the word Israel. That's what it means. Echoed by what Jacob, who became Israel, did the night he became Israel. He wrestled with God and almost won. God had to cheat to get him to let him go. Broke his hip or something like that so that he would let him go. And he did, in fact, get a blessing because God chose Israel to be his people. Imagine that. Israel the group, not Israel the person. Israel the person was Jacob. What it is says, a lot of disciplines. Yes. Bill says, Jake, thanks, Jake. Great read. Thank you, Bill. God bless you, my friend. Questions, criticisms, thoughts, catharses? Somebody tell me something. Thank you. And thank you. And God bless you both. I'll say no more. Bill Bennett, read that one already. What it is says, Snow, your nephew has been out of touch for quite a while, since birth. I don't want to get too in detail because it's private, but just know that a child was given up for adoption at some point and now has reached out and found his long-lost family, and it turns out that he's my nephew. No, it wasn't mine. So I get to meet my nephew, which we've known about forever, but had no idea where he was. It's one of those things you write off, a loss. It's in the book, but you move on with life. And then somewhere down the road, it just goes, boop, here I am. Kind of like my wife. It's amazing how that keeps happening to me. But yes, next Sunday I will meet him. I've already kind of met him because I've got his information and I've looked him up, but I haven't spoken to him directly. He's a good-looking fellow, though. Can definitely see the resemblance. And it's very weird that he grew up in the town where we lived. And when we moved, they moved to the town we moved to several times. So he's been right next to us the whole time, and we had no idea. That's interesting. So even when you lose a thing, God keeps it close to you. But thank you for asking what it is. Bill Bennett says family is important. It really is. That's a good thing, family, says what it is. And you guys are family, and that's important to me. Debbie says it's not a political night, but I understand why Muslims have a problem with Israel, but why everyone else, I don't know. All I can tell you, two things that I'm aware of keenly. Number one, the people that are in Israel that call themselves the Jews are not the Jews. They're not real. They're not descendants of Israel. I don't know who they are, but I know the Bible correctly describes who they are. Or rather, who they are not. The real, what I'm using the word Jew, right? That word means of the tribe of Judah, but that's not how people use it. First, they use it to encompass all of them, and second, they use it as the name of a religion, Jewish, right? Jew is a bloodline, not a religion. So, if there is a person claiming to be of Jewish descent who is using that as a religion, those are not the people that belong in that place. They're not real. So there's that. That I'm keenly aware of. Number two, the Bible describes them as the synagogue of Satan, the fake Jews. The ones with the funny hats and the squirrely hair, those aren't real. So, do with that what you will. That's what the Bible says. It's not my opinion. That's the Bible's opinion. And I don't know why everybody else dislikes them. I do know they have been kicked out of 104 countries in their history. 104 countries. Including this one. The reason they went back to Germany is because we wouldn't accept them here. They were on a boat coming this way, and they were turned away and sent back. And then all of that, mean Mr. Mustache stuff happened. So, I don't know the answer to that question, but it is interesting. Bill Bennett says, when you're living right, good things happen. True. What it is says, so is that why people have a problem the fake Jews. I don't know why people have problems. I try to stay out of all that. I don't hate anybody. And it was a surprise to me growing up to find out that there was so much Semitism or anti-Semitism in the world right in front of me, because I don't have anything to do with any of that. I'm an American. My life is here. I don't have anything to do with any of that. So why did the people here involve themselves with things like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that they are not very well liked. And I do know they cause a lot of problems on the world stage. Whoever they are, I don't know. I do know that there's a difference between real descendants of Judah or real descendants of Israel, and the people that are in power now are not the same people. If they have, here's a good rule of thumb. The squirrelier the hair and the bigger the hat, the faker they are. Remember that. If they dress like a wizard, they're fake. That goes for the Pope too. Just so you know. The more like a wizard they look, the faker they are. Use that as a rule of method to rule out people of prominence. The more weirdly they dress, the faker they are. If they got a big cheese head, fake. Big squirrely sideburns, fake. Big pointy beards, staff in hand, giant hat, fake. Robes, fake. Those things are fake. It's not God. You'll never find any of that in God's word. None of it. So keep that in your head if you're interested in that part of the world. Otherwise, it truly does not pertain to us. What it is says, so if a person just wanted to be an individual, not with the religion and not with ties to any other affiliation, just wanted to live here on earth, there would still probably be a problem for somebody. That doesn't happen. That's not a real thing. If I understood that correctly, believe me, if you're part of that thing, there's more going on than what's being told. If you're saying that you have some descendancy to those people, and you know that to be true, but you don't want to be anything involved with it, to that I say give your life to God and follow God's word, and you will not be a part of that. Because the people that are doing the things that people don't like are doing it against God. God didn't ask for those things to be done. So it is a anti-God or anti-Christ, if you will. That make any sense to you? But there's no such thing as a person that's involved that don't want to be involved. Those are two different things. If I understood what you're saying, which I don't know if I did or not. But I assure you, the people that are calling themselves Jews are not. There are 12 tribes, and out of their 12 tribes, they all had children, and those descendants of those 12 tribes are the Judeo people of Israel. Judeo is a misnomer. That's a word we shouldn't use because it just means of one of the tribes, Judah. That's what a Jew is. A Danite would be the other guy from the tribe of Dan. Or Ishmael, from Ishmael, and Ishmaelite would be Muslims, right? Because that's Jacob's father's brother. Thank you for the rule of thumb. It's a good rule of thumb. The more wizard-like they are, the more wizard-like they are. Believe your eyes is what I'm saying. Don't get wrapped up in pageantry. Pageantry is not part of God. In fact, the Bible makes a point of saying don't chant and don't parade and don't get on the streets and perform so that people know how pious you are. Don't do any of that. Does that go for Masons in the Masonic Lodge too? Asks Debbie. I would imagine so. Yes. That is a different thing It doesn't have anything to do with Israel. In fact, they adopted some of their symbolism, and it came from a place during the Crusades, but they're not Israeli. Those two things are not the same thing. But that rule of thumb applies in all spectrums. The more like a wizard they look, the more fake they are. That is true. What it is says, I'm descended of Cherokee and Irish. I don't think I'm affiliated with the tribes over there. Well, you'd be wrong. The Cherokee are most definitely of one of those tribes. I don't know which one, but I know one. That would be the real one of those 12 tribes. Kevin says, Jake, do you think the Jew bloodline has been watered down also? I would imagine so, yeah. You realize when we read in the Bible how seriously they kept keeping their bloodlines pure. They considered it wrong to even marry outside of their race, outside of their bloodline. And they did that for a long time, but it didn't hold. And so there's a little bit of watering and mixing of the, races and so forth. God knows who they are, though. They are hidden right now, and nobody actually does know who they are, but God does. He knows exactly who they are. And when it's time, he will bring them all back together under that banner, Israel. It will happen at some point. A form of it happened. Israel became a nation state in 1948, so that happened. But all of the people didn't come back to Israel. They will, somewhere in the future. Patty's here. She says, hello, children. Hi, Patty. Did you catch the Bible study, or are you coming in late? Amanda says, Patty Hamburger Brand. Patty says, hi, Miss Amanda. But yes, unfortunately, the further we get into the future, the more mixing of peoples happens. And yeah, all bloodlines are watered down to some degree now. So even if you are part of that tribe, you probably have other things in you too. But again, God knows the seed. He knows the origin of all of those people, and the people that are necessary will come back to Israel when the time is right. And what it is says, oh, I might be somebody then. Well, yeah, you'd be surprised who you are. The ancient Cherokee writing is very similar to Israeli writing, or Hebrew, rather. So will they show up when the temple is built? Somewhere around there, yeah. The Bible says that the tribes of Israel will congregate back to Israel when that happens. So yeah, at some point, the right people will show up in Israel. I don't know who they all are. I know where some of them went, right? Now, I've studied enough to know which direction they went. But I can't pinpoint and say these people are those people, It's kind of hard to do that nowadays because there's so much mixing that has gone on. But I can tell you the origins of the peoples, like the Irish are one of the 12 tribes. The Irish and the Scottish people, the red-headed bloodline came from a certain place, which you can find the origins of it in the Bible. The word Adam, by the way, Adam, means ruddy complected or to show blood in the face or to blush. You know who does that? Red-headed people, blonde-headed people. So that came from Adam. That's the first man of that bloodline. Also the first of that kind of person in the world. All of the rest of the races were there, but they were not that color. That tell you anything? And maybe that'll help. And by the way, a good study in the absence, and I've gotten in trouble for this before, so if anybody wants to leave now, it's the time. Don't get mad, don't cause a scene, just walk out. I'll deal with it. But I'm going to say it again because it's true. In the absence of knowledge, if you don't have any evidence to point where people went, a good rule of thumb is to study the etymology of words, because words have meanings and origins. And so you can, like the word Russia, which comes from the word Rus, which is a name, which comes from a word which means red. And that word comes from another word meaning Esau, Edom, which means red, turned into Rus, which turned into Russia. Edom, Esau, red. Get it? The symbolism is there. You can see it everywhere. So in the absence of evidence, look at meanings. Look at phrases and words, names. They're important. That's a big study that you'd have to go through lots of hoops to trace down. But trust me on this, that's the origin of that line. So what's your opinion on families that are strict on not mixing a bloodline? I think that's probably the best way to be. I think if you offer your bloodline up for contamination, then you will cease to exist. That's what I think. Do I think that's possible? No. I don't think today it's possible. I think all of us are mutts now. If there is a bloodline that's pure, I don't know who they are. But it'd be nice to see. Maybe the Chinese or the Japanese, they all kind of look alike. So their bloodline has stayed pretty close together. A little bit of mixing in there. But you ever notice how everybody in Japan kind of looks the same? There's a reason for that. Same thing with the North Koreans. They're all kind of similar. There are pure-ish bloodlines still left. But most of them have been mixed up somewhere a time or two. I don't know, if you drop a drop of blue water in the ocean, how long before it is no longer visible or detectable? You ask me that. Or answer me that. I don't know. Do you want to be who you are? Are you proud of who you are? You're not responsible for what's happened in the past or what happens in the future, but you personally, are you proud of who you are? Do you want to continue on this world? Would you like your children to carry on your legacy? Answer me that question. That would be the answer to everybody's question about that. Yep. Amanda says nowadays almost every bloodline is mixed at least once. Yeah, that's true. Kevin says, I'm a purebred St. Bernard. Right on. I'm a purebred mutt. I got a lot of stuff in me. Mostly two things, Irish and Indian. I don't know if there's anything else in me, but I imagine somewhere down the line there is. But I'm kind of lucky. I'm less half-bred than most people are. But again, I'm not responsible for what my fathers did. I'm only responsible for what I do. And I tried to continue my bloodline the best that I could. I made as good a decision as I can make with a partner. But it really doesn't matter that much in today's world. It might matter to God, but I can't do anything about it. I certainly don't think that should be a cause for hatred or anything, if that's what you're asking. Debbie says, the reason I brought up the Masonic Lodge is because I have an aunt and her second husband are very involved, and they are very liberal and hateful, and he believes he is special, but something about him is off. Well, yeah, most people that think they're special, there is something wrong with them. But I also am a Mason. I don't know if you knew that or not. It was a choice I made because there was a place that had secrets that I wanted the answers to, and I went and got them. And now I no longer am part of that. But I went as far as you could go in the Masonic Lodge. I'm a 32nd degree Mason. And in that particular branch of Masonry, that's as far as you can go. So I learned what I needed to learn, and then I left. But there are some people that really believe in that stuff. You know, they really put a lot of stock in it. And I guess that the answer to that question would be the more special they think they are, the bigger the hat, the bigger the fanciness, the more fake. Believe that. I'll give you an example, real world. You got two preachers. One guy's wearing a polo shirt and shorts with a $80 microphone preaching you the word of God. You flip on your TV and you find Kenneth Copeland, who's wearing an Armani suit that costs about $9,000 and a $20,000 gold Rolex, and he flew in on a G5 jet to get there to preach the word of God. Who are you going to listen to and believe? Him or me? He's way shinier than I am. His production and everything is so much bigger. He makes faces and yells at the top of his lungs. But is he saying anything? Is there any value in what he said? You tell me. That's up to you to decide. Who are you going to listen to, him or me? Are you going to listen to the fancy guy or the simple guy? What does that matter? Well, fancy guys are usually fancy because they're hiding something. What it is says, to be honest, I chose not to have kids to possibly break a generational curse I've been afflicted with, alcoholism and drug addiction, and so to have kids would not benefit them. I know you believe that, but I promise you there's no such thing as a generational curse. There was a time when God would punish a family out to the third generation, but he stopped doing that. That is not a thing that happens anymore. If it's generational, it's because you teach it to them. And you could just as easily not teach it to them. Lead by example. That's the best way I can tell you to live. If your children become alcoholics or drug addicts, it's your fault. There is no other way to see it. It's the environment that they grow up in, the people they're allowed to associate with, and the people that they look to for role models to learn how to be people. And knowledge, the availability of knowledge. You can break that curse by moving and living a clean, straight life and bringing an encyclopedia into your house rather than drugs. Making different decisions, right? It's really that simple. It's not a curse. It's a curse, but it's not a curse like magic. It's a curse because you've inflicted yourself with that curse. The only way to not be an alcoholic is to stop being an alcoholic, and that's a strong decision to make. I'm not putting anything on you there. I'm not saying that you know, it's easy to do. But you have to make a decision. You have to decide, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, make a decision and stick to it. It's that simple. And if yours was to not have kids, and I commend you for that, but don't blame them. It's not their fault. Life is what you make it, bottom line, monkey juice. I just said that, did I not? But it ain't you that's doing it. You definitely need God. And welcome to the show. Debbie says, I went to a Benny Hinn seminar. Oh, God. Benny Hinn, he's the worst. And was early and watched people walk in and sit in wheelchairs. And I left early. It was a massive joke that people believed. Yes, it really is. He is the worst kind of criminal out there, and guys like him are the reason we have so many atheists in the world, because when they see that, they blame God, because that man is taking advantage of a situation that is a gift to mankind. People blame God. God didn't tell him to do that. I promise. What it is says people that think they are special, ego and selfishness and self-centeredness is usually the cat calls. Yep, that's my point. That's why the big hat, because they think it makes them look special. Because they think they are special. Amanda says, hamburger brand monkey juice. Monkey juice says, hello, Banhammer. Kevin says, a recovering addict can lead by example. They show everyone that recovery is possible. Yes. And that it's a big thing. I'm not taking away from that at all. I know it's hard. I myself am an addict, so I'm with you. I understand. But I assure you, you've got the mettle to change that if you are that. You just have to be strong enough to commit to it. If you can make up your mind and commit, one day at a time, you'll get there. Lean heavily on God and take your first step in that direction. And once you get clear of the weeds, when you are clean, then start leading by example. Show other people that you can do it, that it can be done, because it's insurmountable. People don't think they can do it. You know, when you're at the bottom of a withdrawal, when you're at your worst, this is not a thing you want to endure. Everything in you wants to go right back to what stops that. It's one pill away. It's one drink away. Just get rid of this hateful withdrawal symptoms. But if you get clear of that, then you start thinking backwards and go, that wasn't so bad. I got through it. I'm alive. Once you start recovering. It's very hard to get there, though. But if you are a recovered addict, show somebody. Show somebody that you can do it. Don't keep that to yourself. Kevin says, the give hope to people that have none. They give hope to people that have none. Correct. And it's a very hopeless situation. I know I've been there. A lot more recently than I care to admit. But I assure you, it can be done. And you are strong enough to do it. What it is says, I turned my life around. Great. I'm proud of you. You deserve all the accolades that come to you for that. However, you see somebody else that needs to turn their life around, show them that you can do it. Talk to them. Have patience with them. Be kind to them. Let them hear you tell them how you did it. Don't just keep it to yourself. Be an example. And Bill Bennett says, that's awesome. So hard to do. It really is. But it's not impossible. And you can too do it. You just have to make up your mind. That's really it. You just have to decide. Deciding is the hard part with yourself. There ain't nobody else in the room, nobody you're trying to please. You have to sit there and look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is it. I'm done. Period. No more. And then make that permanent. And then you just have to suffer whatever comes until it's over. It's not going to be easy. It's going to suck. But if you can resign yourself to about 2 weeks of suck, you'll get through it. The problem is trying to imagine life on the other side of that 2 weeks of suck. It's really hard to see. It'd be so much easier to go back the other way. But if you can get through that 2 weeks, there is life on the other side of that, life free of all of that. You just have to get there. What it is says, helping others is where it's at, being a humble servant. Amen. Correct. You have to serve somebody. Everybody serves somebody. Believe that. Who do you serve? You can tell a lot about a person by who they serve. Can you answer that question? Who do you serve? Who do you worship? Who do you bow to? Who is your master? If you can answer that question, you've done a good thing. Monkey Juice says, excellent advice. I can relate. Yep. What it is says, from hope, that is where you gain faith. That's what I experienced. Hebrews chapter 11. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things you cannot see. Faith. That's the evidence of the hope of something you cannot visualize yet. The hope that there's life on the other side of that. The hope that Christ will save you if you call his name. The hope that you can walk on water or move a mountain. That hope, faith is the evidence of it and the substance of it. Keep that close to you and know it. Hebrews chapter 11, very wise. Kevin says, God will put the idea of getting sober in your head, but it's up to the individual to listen and to commit to it. Correct. The listening is easy. The committing to it is hard. Amanda says, exactly, Kevin. And to withstand all the withdrawals you're about to go through. But that only lasts for a couple of days. Really. It really is bad, but it really is only a couple of days. And the rest of it is mental. And it'll bother you mentally, but you got to learn how to shut that out. And it can be done. And I believe in you if you can do it. Now, any questions about what we read tonight? Because I'm about to go to bed. I'd like to thank you all for coming and hanging out with me tonight. It's a small crowd, but it's a good crowd. I don't know where everybody's been at the past few times. Seems like we're losing, but we're not. It's just a lull. It'll be back. Amanda says, that's what I'm saying. You have to be strong enough to keep pushing through it. That's right. That is absolutely right. And that strength comes from God because we don't possess it. But it is doable. Bill says, only talk to one is good. Love you all. God bless. Only talk to one is good. I'm not sure what you mean there, Bill. What are you saying? Only talk to one is good. Only talk to one is God. If you could clarify that a little bit there, Bill. Kevin says, good night, everybody. Simple but not easy, says what it is. Correct. Not easy at all. Very insurmountable challenge, but it can be done. And it don't take much to do it. You just have to commit to it. Debbie says, good night, all y'all. Bill says, if you're only talking to one person is more than enough. Got it. Yeah, 10 or 10,000, doesn't matter. I'm saying the same thing. And one person that hears it, if they hear it, it's good. That's correct. Thank you, Bill. Patty says, thank you, Miss Hammer and Jake. I appreciate you both. Thank you, Patty. Amber says, my mind feels like mush. Well, that's marijuana. Amanda says, blah. Amber says, smiley face, hearts and prayers. All right, everybody. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I truly am honored that you listen and interact and ask questions and be part of this. It means a lot to both of us. I know it does. So let's keep doing it. God bless each and every one of you. May his blessings be abundant in your life, and may his light shine the way to every which direction you decide to go. God bless you all. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night to continue this Bible study. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.